Where are your batteries? Just in case. Yeah.
16, 17, 19.
You can have a seat each. What were you saying? You started to say something. Denise was talking. There's loads of them. No problem.
So slowly we are approaching the very center of Dubrovnik, historical part of this unique town that can't be compared with any other towns in the world. Town that is surrounded with 2,000 meters long walls built from 12th till 17th century, excellently preserved till present day. Town that lived as a free town, free republic for almost 1,000 years, led by motto, liberty is not on sale for all the gold in the world. The history and the development of Dubrovnik started in pretty anonymous way on the beginning of the 7th century when refugees from destroyed Roman town of Epidaurus, today's town of Cavtat, found refuge on desolate rock. Here they settled that area, they called that town Ragusa, and nearly at the same time Slavs came to this region, and they settled the area on the mainland across the shallow channel called Stradun or Plaza. Today Dubrovnik has about 40,000 inhabitants, and its main economical, medical, cultural and educational center of this area. Every summer, during July and August, Dubrovnik becomes setting for very famous Dubrovnik Summer Festival of Drama, Opera and Ballet. And all those, events take place mainly in the open air on 17 different stages throughout the town. In those medieval fortresses, lovely squares, other buildings. It's a very popular festival, very well visited, either by performing groups or by people coming here. Inhabitants of Dubrovnik are very proud of their town, but they don't call their town Dubrovnik at all. You would never hear from that, that they come from Dubrovnik, go to Dubrovnik. If you ask them where do they come from, they would tell you that they come from Grad. That's how they call their town. Actually, translated meaning, for Grad is town, preserved. If you like, you can go on a cable car to the Search Hill, to the left, up to the top of the hill. Views are fantastic from there. And the cable car goes from this building in front of us. You see the kind of concrete modern building. You see the wires. Over there, that's the station for the cable car. The ride, it's about few minutes. Views are fantastic. Price 10 euros or 75 kunas. Once you get there is a restaurant.
37-meter cliff, and at the time in the 15th century it used to be the seat of the admiral and the 25 soldiers, so it was very strategic for them. That's why the local government made the wall facing the city, facing us only 60 centimeters thin. All the other... What is it?
Croatia, good?
Vruće je bilo, ali nisam makar sam.
Show this thing. Yeah.
Samo ja jedem. Okay. Also dann zeig mal was.
Nee, gehen wir wieder zurück, sonst werde ich nur die ganze Zeit angemeckert. Gehen wir wieder zurück zum Show.
Ja.
Не, ну можно прикинуть. There's a nail in it right down there for that place in the corner.
Вот этот ракурс. Ну, как бы я вот ставлю, может быть,
Is that food?
¿Cómo se me haber quedado allí Loli porque no lo más? Bueno, yo es que no lo entiendo.
Sotto il campanile.
Bueno, pero usted también ya tenía el número. No lo tenía, pero la copia le guardé.
Walking the walls, you noticed that some, quite a lot of roof tails are new, and actually that's the only sign, that sign from the, recent war when Dubrovnik was heavily shelled. Everything has been excellently repaired, so only what you see, from that time, are those new roof tails. So that means, those houses were shelled and all tails have to be replaced. A commercial college and then American Commercial College Rochester. All three colleges are situated here on peninsula of Lapad. Whole nightlife of Dubrovnik takes place on Lapad as well. Well, talking about local people, they would never go down into the old town for nightlife that's reserved for tourists. So here on Lapad there is an entire street, filled in with bars, pubs and so on, and it has a nickname Bourbon Street. Once again we are on our new bridge, and now to the right you have a view on a quite big part of this inlet of Rijeka Dubrovačka that is 2,700 meters long. On its end there is such a powerful source of the Ombla River. The Ombla River is one of those karst phenomena, river that flows through Popovo field behind those mountains to the right. Over there is called Trebišnica, then disappears underground and here shows up again as a powerful source of the Ombla River. The water, that water is used in 2 hydroelectric power stations that we have here. before the elections. So one day we will have bridge here for sure, but at the moment, personally, I think that we can't afford that. It's such a very expensive project. Hope the bridge will be put the pipe into the river, and then water pours over the fruit or trees. Village on our right hand side is called Komin. Komin is the only village on the right bank of the Neretva river. You can see that nearly in front of each house there is a boat. People use them to cross the river to come here on this left bank where they have their fields. It's much easier, much quicker than to go all the way around by car. Yes or no? Okay, we'll stop then. Here we are. Here we are going to make our short photo stop.
Surrounded with some beautiful pine trees and beautiful olive trees. But anyway, later on I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the pine trees. So now I would like to tell you a little bit more about the olive trees. There is a saying here where olive tree grows, there is the Mediterranean. And olive tree is a symbol of Dalmatia. It grows up to 500 meters above sea level. This kind of tree doesn't tolerate a very low temperature. So if you go to the continental side of Croatia, you cannot see olive trees because this kind of tree doesn't tolerate a very low temperature. But of course, if you go to the continental side of Croatia, you can see beautiful vineyards which are spreading miles and miles around. I believe that you all like olive oil, because olive oil is very healthy. According to some scientists, it can help in prevention of cancer, and it is excellent for digestive tract. First oil mill started with work in 1911 in Podgora, and afterwards Makarska, Tucepi, Gradac, Živogošće and Brist. And locals start collecting the olives from October in the same traditional way passed on through generations, where men are hitting the trees with long sticks and women collect the olives from the ground. And of course, at that time of the year, you can smell fresh olive oil everywhere. And dear guests, right now we are passing through the old village of Gornje Tucepi. So down by the coast is Tucepi, and just above Tucepi there is an old village of Gornje Tucepi. Inhabitants of Tucepi used to live in the old village of Gornje Tucepi, but in 1962, after a huge earthquake with epicenter in Podgora, most of the inhabitants moved down closer to the sea. And of course, in this area, in the old village of Gornje Tucepi, you can see the most beautiful old stone houses. Gotovo. Going to show to you what we are going to see today. Please, you don't need to take personal belongings with you. You can leave it in the minibus. Just don't forget to take your camera with you. Gotovo.
Okay, dear guests, so once again my name is Ivona and I'm your guide today. So as you know, today we are going to visit the beautiful Biokova Mountain. So, did you take your parachutes with you?
Yeah.
Excellent. So right now we are at the entrance of the nature park of Biokova Mountain at 365 meters above the sea level. From there we are going to drive about 15 minutes further until we reach our next stop. So that will be at 890 meters above sea level, and from there you will have the opportunity to see the islands and small places in Makarska Riviera. From there we are going to drive about 35 minutes further until we reach our next stop. So our next stop will be Sveti Jure. So Sveti Jure means Saint George, at 1,762 meters above sea level. So the Saint George Peak is the highest peak of Biokova Mountain, but the second highest in Croatia. And from there you will have the opportunity to see a beautiful hinterland of Dalmatia, as well as huge mountains in Bosnia and Herzegovina, if weather permitting. Because you know, this is the mountain, so weather conditions can change in a moment, but I hope that weather is going to stay as it is now, and don't worry, we have got raincoats for you, yes. So we have got parachutes for you, raincoats. Sorry, did you take anti-venom with you? Oh. Okay, don't worry, we have got anti-venom for you. And dear guests, of course, on our way back down, we are going to make one stop more. So that will be the Ravna Vlaška viewpoint at 1,228 meters above sea level. The Ravna Vlaška viewpoint is just above Tucepi, and it is one of the most beautiful viewpoints on Biokova Mountain. Of course, from there you will have the opportunity to see the islands and small places in Makarska Riviera, and there I am going to tell you a little bit more about it. So, dear guests, before we go, please, if you need to go to the toilet, will you go now? Because later on you can find a nice bush or a nice tree, yeah, if you are not afraid of snakes and scorpions. I think, you know, a tree will be better because you never know what is hiding in the bush. Yeah, that's for sure. So, dear guests, now please, if you need to go to the toilet, down there on the left there is the toilet. Ecological toilet. You know, that toilet is the first ecological toilet in Croatia, and we are very proud of it. So, dear guests, do you need to go to the toilet? What a brave group. So you're not afraid of snakes and scorpions?
Yes.
Excellent.
Chain, which includes Biokova Mountain. So Biokova Mountain just rose from the bottom of the sea. And dear guests, in a few seconds we are going to reach our next stop. Please, you don't need to take your personal belongings with you. You can leave it in the minibus. Just don't forget to take your camera with you. Gotovo.
So Podgora is just 4 kilometers distance from Tucepi. And dear guests, in Podgora there is a huge white monument. Now we can see just one part of the monument. If you look just above Podgora on the right side, just above the harbor, yes, a huge white monument. It is surrounded with pine trees. The Tucepi. So can you recognize the Neptune Hotel in Tucepi? The biggest building in Tucepi, so there is the Neptune Hotel. You know, in Tucepi there is the longest natural beach in Dalmatia, 4 kilometers, beautiful long natural beach. And next to Tucepi there is Makarska. Makarska is the center of Makarska Riviera. It is located in a large bay, protected by the peninsula of St. Peter's on the right side and Osejeva Cape on the left side. Next to Makarska there is Baška Voda, but right now we cannot see Baška Voda. But of course, dear guests, in the front of us, a little bit on the right, there is the island of Brač. So have you been to the island?
Yes.
Okay. So the island of Brač is the highest island in Croatia. Vitova Gora is the highest peak at 890 meters above sea level. And this viewpoint is at 890 meters above sea level. So it
Coast and wild and rough climate on Biokova Mountain. It isn't easy to survive on Biokova Mountain, especially above 1,200 meters, because there is quite a lot of snow, up to 3 meters. A few years ago, the snow sized up to 5 meters, and the temperature can drop to minus 28 degrees. So dear guests, it isn't easy to survive on Biokova Mountain, especially above 1,200 meters. So this is the mountain, and weather conditions can change in a moment. Sometimes in May and September you can go to the beach, and after that you can go up to the mountain towards the St. George Peak, and the St. George Peak can be covered by snow. And a few years ago, the St. George Peak was covered by snow in July. So dear guests, you never know. The average annual temperature in Makarska is 15.5 degrees, and on St. George is 3.2 degrees. And the St. George Peak is just 5 kilometers distance, actually 5 kilometers straight line from Makarska. And dear guests, in a few seconds on the right side you will have the opportunity to see an old village. Actually used to be an old village. So dear guests, now on the right in the distance you can see an old village. So used to be an old village, so now you can see ruins. Life on Biokova Mountain began 200 years ago, but even at that time people lived just one period of the year on Biokova Mountain. So people lived over here from April till October. Nobody lived on Biokova Mountain in the winter because it was difficult to survive. And dear guests, of course, on the right side you can see old stone houses, and you cannot see roofs on the top of the houses. You know, that kind of the house was built of a dry stone. It means without the mortar. And the roof was built of very heavy stone tiles. The roof was supported by wooden beams. For 1 square meter of roof, they needed 4 square meters of very heavy stone tiles. So, in the winter, when nobody lived in the house, heavy roof structure was damaged by the snow, rain and strong Buda wind, and of course, after a while, heavy roof structure completely collapsed. Most of the villages were built from 800 up to 1,600 meters above sea level, and most of the villages were built in a valley because that is an excellent protection from strong Buda wind. I have mentioned Buda wind so many times, so Buda wind is one of the strongest winds in Europe have ever tried. And of course, today you will have the opportunity to see the deepest garden on Biokova Mountain. And dear guests, in the spring and summer in this area you can see the beehives, and of course in a few seconds on the left you will have the opportunity to see the beehives. The beekeeping has got long tradition on Biokova Mountain. When scientists explored Biokova Mountain, they were delighted with numerous herb and plant species, and they named Biokova the Bee Paradise Garden. On Biokova Mountain has found 1,500 numerous herb and plant species, including 50 Biokova endemic species. When I say endemic, it means that you can find those herb and plant species just over here on Biokova Mountain and nowhere else. In Croatia has found 5,550 numerous herb and plant species, and Croatia takes the 7th place in Europe when we are talking about numerous herb and plant species. But if we compare with Dalmatia, so we can say that Dalmatia is the first region in Europe when we are talking about numerous endemic herb and plant species. As oak tree, it grows from 800 up to 1,500 meters above sea level, and beech tree can live up to 400 years. Beech tree hasn't got the strong roots. Of course, I have mentioned Aleppo pine tree that hasn't got the strong roots, and it cannot resist a strong Bora wind. So that is the reason why most of the Aleppo pine trees are easily bent over to one side. So beech tree hasn't got the strong roots, but as you can see, most of these trees are standing straight because most of these trees are located in a deep valley, and that is an excellent protection from strong Bora wind. Beech forest is a very dark forest, and just few plant species are able to survive there, where the sun can barely reach the ground. But of course, it is excellent protection for some wild animals, such as wild boars, wolves, rabbits, kunas. Dear guests, you know, on Biokova Mountain there is no bears. Beech tree is blooming in the spring, and dear guests, you know, beech forest looks fantastic in the autumn. Golden red leaves you breathless. So we like to bring our kids over here in September. Because, you know, down there in Makarska Tucepi, you can see pine trees, olive trees, lemon and orange trees, I mean evergreen trees. So that is the reason why we like to bring our kids over here in September to feel colorful autumn, actually to feel the beauty and power of the nature. The fruit of the tree is called beech nut, and the beech nuts are excellent food for some birds. Beech tree is excellent ornamental tree in large gardens and parks. Now on the right side you can see the metal posts bound by thick rope. So these posts and rope help TV tower technicians to to walk around in the most difficult weather conditions, because sometimes the technicians, they're not able to approach the TV tower and the TV building by car, so sometimes they have to walk for a few hours. The longest walking lasted 24 hours, and a few years ago the snowplow worked over 38 days to clean the snow from the road. That was in 2005, when the snow sized up to 5 meters. So the TV tower must be in function 24 hours a day and 365 days a year, because the TV tower isn't just the TV transmitter, it is as well the mobile phone transmitter, and that is the reason why it must be in function all the time. Gotovo. What a winding road. Dear guys, I haven't been quite honest with you. Our drivers, Željko and Grga, they are excellent drivers. But they got their driving license a month ago. So I hope that you have got the life insurance. I mean, if you haven't got life insurance, you can pray to God, because right now we are quite close to Him. Or, if you're not religious, just close your eyes. Oh, dear guests, I'm just kidding. This is something that we do almost every day, so we have got a lot of experience. And dear guests, in about 5 minutes we are going to reach our next stop, so that will be the St. George Peak at 1,762 meters above sea level. And of course, from the St. George Peak, you will have the opportunity to see a beautiful hinterland of Dalmatia, as well as the islands. Actually, you will have the opportunity to see all islands in the central part of Dalmatia. Gotovo.
Yes, you're right. Smells. Yes.
It's very good and it's beautiful.
Yeah, you're right.
But you've got yours.
You chop it up and put it in the stew when it's
Yes,
cooking, do you?
yes, it has really extremely good taste of the wild meat, you know. Right.
I've got the other one in there. But
Yes, pheasant as well, yeah.
What about Maxi?
Yes, you're right. There is a church a little bit lower on the eastern side, but the church is closed and the path is quite dangerous. There is no fence, so we will not go there. But just once a year there is pilgrimage to the church, last Saturday in July. Okay, dear guests, so here we are, the St. George Peak at 1,762 meters above sea level. I have mentioned that St. George Peak is the highest peak of Biokova Mountain, but the second highest in Croatia. Please have a look on the left side. In the distance, you can see the Nara Mountain. The highest peak is the Nara's Peak at 1,830 meters above sea level. But dear guests, so the Nara's Peak is the highest peak in Croatia, but with this huge TV tower, we are the highest point in Croatia. The TV tower, it looks like a rocket. Russian rocket.
Yeah,
You know, when a strong wind blows, the TV tower swings from left to right side. And then down there in Tucepi and Makarska, we cannot watch TVs.
Oh, really?
I'm kidding. Of course that we can watch TVs, but it is true, when a strong wind blows, the TV tower swings 25 centimeters left from left to right side. 25, just like that. And dear guests, of course, in the front of us now you can see a beautiful hinterland of Dalmatia. In the distance, you can see huge mountains in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So there is the border with Bosnia and Herzegovina. And please have a look just straight on in the distance. You can see one small town. Yes, the town of Imotski. The town of Imotski is the center of the hinterland. And on the left side of the town, you can see two holes, the Blue Lake and the Red Lake. The Blue Lake is one of the most beautiful lakes in Croatia. It can be approached by a set of steps. In the summer, the Blue Lake has got pleasant temperature, so you can swim in the lake. But every few years, the Blue Lake dries up, and then local people play football on the bottom of the lake. I'm not kidding, that is true. So you can swim or you can play football, not at the same time, but you can swim and play water polo at the same time. Next to the Blue Lake there is the Red Lake. The Red Lake is named after the red rocks at the edge of the lake. The water of the lake is dark blue. And the Red Lake is 281 meters deep. According to some data, it could be the deepest lake in Europe. In fact, it could be even more than that, because the exact depth is still a mystery. And of course, dear guests, down there you can see a new Croatian motorway. It isn't busy right now, but anyway, later on I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the motorway. Okay, now please, we'll go to the other side. Okay, so dear guests, on the right side there is the island of Brač. It looks so huge now. Then, next to the island of Brač, there is a long island of Hvar. In the distance, it looks like a huge mountain.
Yes.
You always bring the stove now.
A lot of the sun.
The Natural Hotel is the tallest building in Tucepi.
Do you know anything about the derelict building?
Ah, the Jadran Hotel. A long building. Yeah. So the Jadran Hotel.
It's in a lovely position.
Ah, yes. And it is. There is such a lovely beach in the front of the hotel.
So you're going to buy it, are you?
Oh,
You know, I need somewhere to go down these stairs because I
yeah,
got
sure.
a problem with balance sometimes.
Don't worry.
Don't like to fall. Don't want to fall. Only travel.
That's the one we walked to today. That's our hotel over there. That's the square one. Yeah, it needs cleaning up first though. Yeah.
Well, I've got an antiseptic wipe in my bag now and a plaster if you want to use it. Oh, you're well prepared, aren't you? Yeah.
But I tell you what.
Right, let me go and get it in.
Yeah.
We've had so many holidays and things. Before of us. It's all come prepared.
Mora kamena iż twoja, dalmatyńska pismo moja, rodzino czas piecony kaleto, zapiłaj mi serconi dyż peto.